right? Yeah. Say I'm from Virginia where my son is buried. If I ever leave, bury him in Inglewood Cemetery. I'ma do things that's legendary. Got some really big things on the itinerary. Boy, that's why I'm cooking up, that's culinary. Gotta get it done by any means necessary. I'ma state my case even if it's preliminary. I gotta shake the way we can't survive on commissary. Jenny Craig, cause my thoughts are heavy. Got Planet Fitness as a witness cause we working daily. I gotta tell Sally, hold on, I'm still working, baby. I know it's God's grace to bless us with that kind of lady. I know it's God's grace to bless us with some more.
I gotta know when I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I heard some comments, some feedback. You know what I mean? My message last week was not good. I know.
Yo, who told you that?
I understand. I had some close people in my life, you know what I mean, let me know that it was, you know what I mean, subpar. You know what I mean? They expect better, you know what I mean? So committed. Committed to nothing but up, you know what I mean?
Dog, if they're coming after you, I better bring something. I can't be having people out here DMing me saying that was boo boo.
Listen, I take the criticism on the chin, you know what I'm saying? But again, just wanna say thank you and welcome back to the Jesus Juke. We've been at it for I think 7 weeks because we missed a week, but we're on episode 6. You know what I'm saying? I was watching a video earlier, and they said they were talking about how only 1% of podcasts that get started make it past episode 20.
Only 1%.
I was like, yeah, only 1%.
That's crazy.
I was like, bet. So, you know what I mean? We gonna hit episode 21, and then we can figure out what we want to do from there. But you know what I'm saying?
Gotta make it past 20.
That's what I'm saying. Trying to be in that 1%, no cap. I was also watching a video. You know who Gary V is?
Yeah.
I don't actually know what he does, but I know who he is. But
yeah,
this guy, like, he was talking to this lady, and she was like, "Oh, I've been making videos for years," and she made like 300, 500 videos at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still only getting like 20 some views on the videos and stuff. And he was like, oh, okay, this is good. I get to tell you something that I don't get to tell a lot of people. He was like, so you're saying that you've been making videos for years? And she's like, yeah. He's like, and you made hundreds of them and it's still just not working. She's like, yeah. He's like, all right, like, this is good. Like, you have the dedication, you have the discipline down, but what you're doing, it's not working. he's like, I get to tell you that you just gotta switch it up. Like, I don't know, like you got everything else, but you just gotta switch it up. I was like, I don't understand why he was so excited to tell this woman like, whatever you're doing is not working. Whatever you're doing, it's not working.
Well, I think it's because people get so caught up trying to, support, which is good. Everybody needs support, but at the same time, you got to be realistic with people. If it's not working, it's not working.
It's not working. That's facts. That's big facts.
But that's hilarious how he was that excited to say, "Hey, quit." Well, he said quit. He said try something else, but.
Well, what you're doing currently, he did say quit that.
Out of curiosity, what was her topic? Like, what was her thing?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
It was just that like section clipped out. I don't be watching Gary V videos generally speaking. I'm not big on the. There's like a couple entrepreneurial things that I listen to, but I'm not like deep into that space. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should be a little bit more. I'm trying to build. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I only follow one builder, the carpenter. His name was.
He said not Bob the Builder.
But that does lead me to, as always, start off with our object lesson. 5 minutes of fire. Little message. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see what we got here today.
Last week, this man Miles gave me technical difficulties. Y'all can go back to episode 5 and discern for yourself how you feel about that. But this week, Miles, I'm gonna give you a boat.
A boat.
Mm-hmm. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. So all right, this is what we're gonna do. Have you ever been in a situation, a space in your life where you know that where you are at is not necessarily where you were supposed to be, and you don't know, like everything else around you is kind of like going a little bit crazy, and other people around you are, they're trying to figure out, well, what's going on. Everything was straight, and but in your heart of hearts, you know that you're not where you're supposed to be. Let me tell you somebody who I know that was like that. His name was Jonah. Jonah was he was called by God to be a prophet to Nineveh. And Jonah hated the people of Nineveh. He did. He did not believe that they deserved God's, grace. They didn't deserve God's mercy. But God was like, look, go to Nineveh, tell them to repent. And if they repent, I'll forgive them and everything. And Jonah was like, nah, let me not do that. So what does he do? He gets onto a boat. Gets on a boat with some other fishermen. They are not going towards Nineveh, tell you that much. And they start to set sail. And all of a sudden, things start going crazy all around them. Things are going crazy, stormy seas, you know what I'm saying? And they're trying to figure out, what's going on? And Jonah's over here acting like everything is straight. He's acting like, oh no, like I don't know what's happening. But he knows he's running away from God. Eventually, it comes out. He's like, look, dog, you the issue. You the issue. You got to get off the boat. So they kick Jonah off the boat, and there's like a peace that returns to that environment. Mm-hmm.
Now, if we think about our personal lives, it's very interesting that nobody wants to be the villain in the story. Nobody wants to be the villain in the story.
That's true.
And oftentimes we will look at the other people in our lives and say, well, things are kind of going crazy around it, but it's not me. It's got to be somebody else. But in this situation, in this story that we just talked about, Jonah was the issue. He knew he was the issue in his heart of hearts, and he was making it difficult for everybody else around him, and he had to be removed from the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes instead of you trying to figure out who else is the problem, you got to do a self-check. And you might have to be the one to remove yourself from the situation in order for things to return back to order. Because, you know what I'm saying? You are you supposed to be where God told you to be. You can't just be out here doing your own thing and then be confused when things start to fall apart, because you know that you were supposed to be somewhere else in the first place. That was
It's a word.
I think it was very okay. It was very okay. But I think it's very okay. But I do think that we do need to, self-check a lot more. Stop necessarily looking at everybody else around you saying, well, they must be the problem. They must be the problem. They must be the problem. How about, you know what I'm saying? Turn the light on yourself. Turn the light on yourself. Take a look. Well, what's the old saying? When you point your finger, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I hated that as a kid, bro. I had a teacher who said that to me in like middle school. I was like, what are you talking about? And then she did one of these. I was like, I guess.
But yeah. They say check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that's what we gonna rock with today.
Bet. All right, y'all. We're getting into the episode. We're finna be a little free flowy with it. You know what I'm saying? Things is just happening. I was gonna ask this man something, but then I remembered that Miles don't be watching movies, so there's no way. I was gonna ask you if you seen Nope.
I have not.
I
have not seen Nope.
Not seen that shit. If you haven't seen Nope, for everybody out there, you should go see it. It's good. It's real good. You know what I mean? Go in there just watching a movie. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've seen a lot of people who are like saying they don't like it, but then when they start talking about it, were expecting like, I don't even know, bro. Like it feels sometimes like they almost bummed that it was a movie, like
as opposed to what?
Like he did some stuff. Like there's some stuff in there that's just cool. Like he just did it to be cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like sure, there's like layers behind it of like stuff that he was trying to say sometimes, but like you can enjoy the movie if you go into the movie. Oh wow, excuse me. If you go into the movie and you're like expecting it to be like a super like deep allegorical story, there's stuff for you there, but like it takes away from its strength, which is being like he said it. He's like Jordan Peele's like, I want to make a blockbuster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a summer blockbuster, and that's what it is. It's a good alien movie, and then you get to peel back some layers and be like, oh, that's interesting. I see why he did that now, or like why that happened. And like, it's much more enjoyable that way. So when you go see the movie, just remember that you're watching a movie and you're not watching some giant metaphor take place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, out of curiosity, because Daniel Kaluuya was in Get Out as well, right?
Yes, he was.
Is this the same universe as Get Out?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
No, definitely not.
just a thought.
If he was playing the same, no. He plays a different character. It's a very different character. But was it you who sent me the picture of Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out? And he looked dummy young. He looked like a baby.
Was I? I mean,
maybe it's my brother.
Was it recent? If it was recent, it wasn't me.
It was fairly recent.
It wasn't me.
In a week.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
It might have been my brother. Someone sent me a picture from Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. And one, I didn't realize that he was clean shaven in that movie, and it makes him look way different. He's like clean shaven, has like a super low cut, like bald essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also is just younger, and maybe he just looks younger because he's clean shaven and stuff. But I was like, what the heck is going on? It's almost not the same dude, for real.
Hey, dog.
Almost not.
I still remember though when you on GroupMe had Daniel Kaluuya as your as your avatar, and people smack thought that was you.
People legitimately thought it was me, for real.
Like they didn't recognize it till
I
you're like,
remember.
yeah, that's not me.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget. Prime 2017, 2018 was prime. You look like Daniel Kaluuya days, and I'll never forget growing my hair out and then getting the high top fade and being like, "Bet I don't have the low cut. No one's gonna tell me I look like Daniel Kaluuya again." But then he popped out for all the Black Panther stuff, and he had like the exact same haircut. He had like the exact same haircut. I was low key hot, bro. Low key hot.
This man can't get away from comparisons. He was Daniel
No, bro, I
Kaluuya
was
for a
sitting-
while, then he turned into Zion for a little bit.
Oh my god, bro. People who see me at the court will still call me Zion sometimes if I'm hobbling. If I hobble a little bit, oh Zion. It's different now, probably because of the cut. But my God, bro, don't get a high top fade, be above 200 pounds, and play basketball. Just don't, because they're gonna Zion. Get out of here, bro. Get out.
It's the walk didn't help though.
No.
The walk didn't help though.
The walk did not help. I got a slight hitch. I be on my left side longer. I be teetering a little bit. It's not full penguin like my man Zion, but it's
That
definitely
man
it's a little
waddles.
something.
It's funny.
Oh, for real. My mom, every time she sees me walk, she'll be like, "Are you okay? You limping?" I'm like, "No, like I just walk like this.
just walking.
I just walk funny, I guess."
That's funny.
I take it though. Listen, this is the only official thing on the docket, but us talking about basketball players reminded me. So I don't know if you're not on Twitter, so you probably didn't see this, but some people called, what's his name, Giannis a land shark a couple of years ago. They said like he plays basketball like a land shark, and that joint just kind of stuck. So this is what we finna do, right? I was on not this week. I think last week or 2 weeks ago was sorry, I'm dang, I never done screen sharing on this computer, so I gotta give it access. But what?
These are technical difficulties.
Just let me know if you see this giant.
Oh, man, it's loading. It's loading. Yeah, I saw that when you sent me the link. I clicked on it and I was like,
this is what I'm saying, right? So I got a couple things out of this. I saw it and I immediately thought of Zion because it's a land shark. It's a shark walking, or not Zion,
Giannis.
But then also, right, I started thinking about it. Can we really call this walking? Like, you seeing this? Would you call this walking?
I think that there is it's an allowance type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the threshold for what will count as walking because it's a shark.
Nah.
I think that's kind of what it is.
I'm saying, like, I feel like the water is a little too deep to call this walking. And maybe I'm just hating. You know what I mean? That's very possible.
Now this man got high standards. He says, "I want you to be upright bipedal."
Yes. He said, skip all that. Skip all those in between phases. Get up. Huh? What did Jesus say? He said, pick up your mat and walk. Say it to the shark.
Hey, So I wonder if you took him out of the water and just put him on land, what would have happened? Just like
I don't know. They
completely out of
probably
the
start
water.
choking or something, right?
I mean, I don't know where the gills are on this thing.
That's true. I don't either. But
So
like, listen, it's cool. I think what did it to me was the first source I saw it on. They said they said we're seeing evolution happen right in front of our eyes. I was like, okay, like
he's ever seeing it
me
happen right in front of
personally,
our eyes.
me personally, you can convince me either way of a long day, short day view of creation. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But like that's evolution happening right in front of our faces. I mean, I guess technically it is, but like, no.
He said, "I guess, but no." I don't know. Evolution's an interesting topic. There's like, I guess they say. I remember I was in like a science class a few years ago. The professor was saying that, and I don't know where I land on this necessarily. He said that he does not believe like in macro revolution, but like you could argue for micro evolution. Like you could argue for micro
I mean, I feel like we see
evolutions.
that on a cellular level. We've seen that in the last couple hundred years,
Yeah,
even the last 20 years. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. So that's kind of where it is. It's like what I wonder what scale it would have to be though to count as like macro evolution. Like if the shark all of a sudden just grew legs, like how many generations are we giving it to grow legs, I guess, completely before we say that's
A lot. It needs a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, look, let's say in that area, the reason I'm like, okay, the reason I'm like, okay, you might be able to convince me, right? It's like, okay, let's say in that area, there's like a batch of food that you can only access by going through that little shallow canal, right?
mm-hmm.
That gives you an actual advantage. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
gives you an actual advantage. That shark keeps having babies and shows the babies how to do that. So then, like, now this breed of shark is like dominated by sharks that have stronger fins so that they can do that. I think ordinarily for me that's where it would stop. But like I don't think it's as big of a leap as it sounds that if you
Mm-hmm.
give it like billions of years to be like yeah, and eventually like some shark had a weird thing or like the fins just kept getting stronger and then they changed like shape a little bit over time as well and then they blah 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 I don't freaking know, bro. Like the earth be doing weird stuff all the time. You know what I mean? Animals be
Mm-hmm.
doing weird stuff all the time. Like the freaking Pat Geo video you showed me, like
That
there's
joint
weird
is
animals out
weird,
there. There's dummy weird animals out there that I'm like, why does this even exist? Like, look,
bro. Sea creatures
you
are an
want to tell me
issue.
that a shark, a big issue, bro, big,
Sea creatures are an issue.
nasty, bro,
What did they say? Like we haven't even discovered like
bro. It's
X
like
amount of the
90% of the ocean.
no.
It's
The
like
sea
90% of the
creatures
ocean that we
are an
haven't.
issue.
I just feel like, bro, I think this may look personally. I think this may be like one or two crazy things down there, like big organisms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most of the stuff that we finna see in the ocean now is finna be like real microscopic type organisms. Because I feel like it's one thing if you're like, oh, this dolphin or this whale can dive really deep, but like once you start going down there and you see some of the fish that be down there, it's like okay, like anything past this is just an alien. You know what I mean? Like I don't. That's how I feel about it. Some of those fish that live like past where the sun is and all that type
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, and like it's just pitch black. I'm like, okay, like how long until that's not a fish anymore? And that's so that like That's an
So
extraterrestrial.
that's a monster.
That's a monster. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get it. For me, I get it. Like,
How
you know what I mean?
do they?
If you were a freaking pirate 1,000 years ago and you saw a freaking like giant squid, like that's it. What is that?
Do they know how deep the ocean actually is, or is it
I
just?
have no idea. I have
Mm,
no idea. I feel like they do. I feel like they have a way of doing that. You just put some seismic joints down there. I
they
don't
get
know.
eaten. There's monsters down
All right, you heard it here first. Miles says we don't know the depths of the ocean.
I don't know. I
Those
didn't say
monsters
that. I
keep
said
eating our tools. That's exactly what this man said. Word for word. You know what I mean? It's a
it's
kaiju from freaking Pacific Rim down there.
it's
And it's just eating all the instruments.
it's scary, bro. You telling me you gonna go?
Nah, for real.
You can't go down there. You get crushed by the pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's really crazy. If you go scuba diving and you come up too quickly, you can die because you got nitrogen in your blood. Like
Yeah, bro.
like
Yeah, bro.
the ocean's wild, bro.
What's that called? That one's called the bends, isn't it? When you come up too fast.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's called the bends. I almost said scurvy, but I think that's like
No.
that's a dietary thing.
Isn't scurvy like a lack of vitamin C or something?
Yeah, yeah. It's a dietary thing because it could impact certain things on the boats.
So all these pirates had scurvy.
What a stupid name for a disease, bro. Like
Where'd they get that from?
scurvy. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, we gotta look up the etymology of the word. Hold up, I'm about to do it actually though. Say, where did the word scurvy? All right, peep game.
What they say?
They said noun usage possibly from the adjective scurvy influenced or whatever took on meaning. Hold on. Let me go find something else, bro, because
They said that wasn't it.
this joint, none of these joints making sense, bro, for real. Etymon line. I just found a word. It's a debilitating disease, a variant of scurvy with an F and not a V.
Scurvy.
Which was in the 1560s. The adjective meant it could mean vile, low, mean, or vulgar. This is very interesting. I don't know how you get from that to scurvy. And they said it took a narrower meaning of Dutch Schuurbuik, French scorbut, in reference to the disease characterized by. Oh, so it means like. So the disease is characterized by swollen and bleeding gums, prostration, and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, hold on. What the frick? Perhaps from an Old Norse word, skjörbjörg, which is perhaps literally a swelling from drinking sour milk on a long seas voyage. But there's an alternative etymology of Middle Dutch or Middle Low German as a disease that lacerates the body. Very okay.
I felt like
That barely helped, bro.
we learned
That did
something
not.
and nothing at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Did all that work for nothing, bro.
Mm-mm-mm.
For nothing.
That's how it be sometimes, I guess.
Facts. Language is kind of cool, though. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Shout out to my favorite movie, Arrival,
I remember when I watched that with you. It
Pushing Linguistics.
was a good movie.
Did we watch that?
I think like sophomore year. I think we watched it.
Yeah. That's my favorite movie for real. I haven't watched it in a while. You know what I'm saying? When I first watched it, I liked it. My brother showed it to me. But
Mhm.
then when we started doing the digging to the behind the scenes stuff of like the linguistics concept it was based on, I was like, oh nah, this is crazy.
Yeah. Because wasn't it like the idea that whatever language that you speak or think in, like the language you speak changes the way you think or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Which honestly, to me, I feel like that's facts.
That's true.
Because you hear about people who have like different personalities when they speak multiple languages. Like they have different, like in one language they might be a little more timid or they might be a little more aggressive, and then like different stuff like that. Like I feel like it completely makes sense that you change how you think based on the language that you have available to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
I always find it interesting when they're like, yeah, this language only has one word for this, but this language has like multiple words for this one thing.
facts.
And I was like, I wonder like why did they feel the need to have these different delineations for this word? But like some things like it makes sense. But like
Cultural value.
you know, yeah. Shout out to languages.
Cultural value.
Shout out to languages. I'm about to get it back on my language grind
Yeah,
and go learn some languages.
bro, I was thinking about this, right? I was thinking about this. So I was like, dang, I would love to be able to like learn a language, um, and like pass a language down to my kid or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, this is the problem I'm running into though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, Heather's family, kind of mixed background, but like heavily, it's a lot of German in there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My background, Yoruba. I don't know Yoruba. I would love to learn. It'd be cool to like teach my kids Yoruba. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, okay, I would feel like I'm like taking over their identity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you learn a Yoruba, you're Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? Which they are. But then at the same time, it's like I can't teach you German though, and I have no interest in teaching you German. But you're also that. You know what I mean? But I mean,
That sounds.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think French is a gross language.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not
not
actually
gross, but I don't
I'm
like
not
the way it
actually a big
sounds.
fan of French. People think French sounds beautiful.
Spanish is who, bro? Yeah, can we stop capping, bro? Like, I think French people speaking English sounds pretty cool. I think the accent's pretty cool, but like actual French.
I'm not a big fan of French.
Actual French to me is like if you took the like throatal sounds from like a Middle Eastern language, which it makes sense in Middle Eastern languages, but then like you put it in like you just threw that on Spanish. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that at all?
That's funny. That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? Spanish is real silky and it's super useful, but I just don't find it super interesting to learn. And maybe that's just because having to do it in school and not liking it, but you know what I mean? But if I was like, oh, I'm gonna teach them Japanese or something, like that's not useful. I mean, it's useful, but you know what I mean? It's not useful. It has no significance really.
I feel like Japanese is tough to learn. I tried to learn it for a little bit, and
Hmm.
like they got like 3 different alphabets, so like you'd have to know. So like the first 2 alphabets are like phonetic, I guess. Um,
Hmm.
uh, and then like the third one is like the kanji, where you get into like the characters that mean things, and like Kanji is hard to learn because every character has at least 2 meanings. And it's like you just need to use context clues.
You just have to know. Yeah.
Like you have to use context clues.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like some of them have like up to 4 different meanings for like one character. So it's like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's when they be. My name is Light Yagami, spelled with moon and
Mm-hmm.
spelled with moon and whatever.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's very crazy, but it's very interesting. I'm gonna get back to learning that one too.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
You gotta go get
I did get. I memorized the alphabet in the Hebrew alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was getting a pretty good grip on the vowel system, and then I just fell off. Just fell off super hard. Once I realized, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna have to I have to go learn the words now. You know what I mean? Like I could read to you what a word said, like I could sound it out, but I'd be like, I have no idea what that means. Like I have to go learn the words now. I was like, bro, I need to go find people who speak Hebrew, which thankfully Liberty is pretty close by, so I would probably be able to do that easier than I think, but but still. I might pass. Listen, if I learn Hebrew, I pass Hebrew down to my kids for sure. Read the word in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be tough.
Never let anyone tell them what this means, what that means. They'd be like, "Oh, did you read it in the original?"
Bro, being multilingual, flex. Big flex.
Facts.
Big flex.
I want my kids to be polyglots. For real.
That's a good word.
I'm gonna force them to learn an instrument too. No cap.
It's another language.
I'm gonna force them to learn an instrument.
You got to.
I'm gonna force them to learn an instrument.
That's what I'm saying. It's another language. Speaking.
For real.
Like you speak treble clef.
Facts. No, for real.
You speak treble clef in the key of E flat. Shout out the saxophone.
Bro. I remember my whole life I played cello was in treble. I played tenor, sax, mostly in treble. I remember singing, and it was in this weird tenor clef or something. Like it was a treble clef, but then it had an 8 under it, and I don't know what that denoted because I don't know anything about music theory or whatever. But
there might be a tenor clef, but I am only familiar with the treble clef and the bass clef.
I was like, bro. They said the tenor clef is a type of C clef used by some instruments to read notes at the higher end of their register.
What instruments use tenor clef?
That's a very good question. It looked weird, bro. They said viola da gamba for upper ranges.
What?
It is used for the viola da gamba and for upper ranges of bass clef instruments such as bassoon, cello, euphonium, double bass, and tenor trombone.
Interesting.
Super interesting. There's an alto clef as well.
Seldom used.
Yeah, no, it has to be because I was looking at it. I was like, I actually don't remember ever seeing that symbol in my life. That was crazy, bro. I'm telling you, look. My kids can't be like me, bro. Because I started playing guitar when I was younger, and I did not like my teacher at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I dropped guitar. I still have the same guitar sitting in my parents' house, and I've been wanting to pick it back up. Played cello, dropped that as well. that one I'd probably have to. Both of those I'd probably have to go through like a relearning process. Maybe a little bit less with cello,
Mm-hmm.
and then tenor sax. And tenor sax, I'm surprised at how much I've forgotten because I did play that. I played it in high school, but I suppose that was only 3 years as opposed to like 4
Yeah.
with the others. But
Man, there's a lot of stuff I got to get back into. I got to get back playing an instrument. I got to get back to learning languages. I got to get back reading. Oh my gosh.
oh my god, the reading is coming a little bit. I stopped. What I did was I stopped telling myself I had to finish this chapter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would start and I'd be like, I gotta finish this chapter, and then I get like, you know what I mean, 10 pages in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be looking around and be like, I got 13 more pages. It's kind of late. It's kind of late at night because that's usually what I read.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, I get to one of those like marker places and I'd stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm doing that now because I'm like, listen, I've had some of these books for way too long. I have not read them.
Bro,
And I like buying books. That's the funny part.
if I can find an audiobook version of the book, there's a higher percentage chance that that book will be read. Just because, like, I can listen to it and read it at the same time. It helps keep me focused, and I can listen to it faster than I read.
That's true. Say, it's all about speed.
No, it's not all about speed, but like when you just sit there, you start reading, you like, I'm sitting still, getting tired. Start to lean back. Next thing you know, your eyes closed.
Yeah, that's facts. I've been laying in bed. Wait, where was I? Listen, bro, I get it. If they made, I don't be feeling like paying for audiobooks though. Sometimes I don't know why. Like if I'm gonna buy it, let me just buy a book.
You'll be surprised. There's a lot of people who upload audiobook versions on YouTube. So that's normally what I do. I go on YouTube, search title audiobook, and there's a decent amount of results that will come back most of the time. Especially if it's like a popular book.
Like the book is just like, I don't know, it feels like proof. You know what I mean? I'm not a mark up my book type person.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's nice being like, yeah, you see that book? Those like books over there, I read those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I definitely appreciate physical copies of books. But I use the audio versions as supplements to help me get through it quickly, a little more efficiently.
That's fair.
More efficiently. So
don't give me the audiobook version. If they give you the audiobook version of the Percy Jackson series when I was a kid, I would have read them joints double the amount of times I read them already.
Bro, especially if it was dramatized. Don't let them start switching. Don't let them start switching voices and getting mad with the text. And oh my gosh, bro. Dramatized versions of books are immaculate. They're immaculate.
Disney Plus better give us that with this. Is it Disney Plus or is it Amazon that has the Percy Jackson series? It's gotta be Disney.
I believe it's Disney Plus.
About to go stupid.
I hope it's good.
Facts. Did I tell you that the Bleach joint that's coming out in October, there's rumblings that it's gonna be on Disney Plus?
Really? Why?
Yeah, which doesn't make sense.
It's like, why?
I don't know. I don't know. I was like, you put an anime on Disney Plus?
Hey, the mouse is taking over. They do everything.
The mouse is taking over, bro. If I hear word that Disney bought like an animation studio, like a big animation studio, I'd be like, hold on. They actually have to be stopped. Like imagine you just chilling and then you get a text and it's like Disney bought, or like an Apple News notification. It's like Disney bought Mappa. You know what I mean?
They own Attack on Titan.
I'd be like, chill out. No,
They said, media? Yeah, that's us. We are media. That's it. There's no one else. It's just Disney.
For real. The only people who can stand up to them in that way is Sony. Sony can never sell Crunchyroll, never.
They already got him in a headlock with Spider-Man.
The moment they do,
They said,
done.
we're not giving Spider-Man up. They're like, please, just give us Spider. No.
Sony needs to give Spider-Man.
They
up.
say
Like,
you'll be too powerful.
I get why they're not giving it up. You know what I mean? It's a moneymaker, but at the same time, I'm like, Sony, like, y'all are not doing anything with these properties, bro. Like,
They said,
what'd y'all do? Venom 2? I didn't see either of those.
I didn't.
Morbius? Definitely not watching that.
Oh, that's Sony?
You saw Venom?
No, I didn't see either. I heard they were decent, though, I think.
Yeah. Well, who says they were decent? You gotta be a little pretentious when it comes to. You gotta be a little pretentious when it comes to who's telling you what. You know what I'm saying?
Rumblings around the interwebs.
Yeah. See, my thing is people would be like, "It's a good movie." I don't know why people are saying it's not a good movie, but then the thing that they appreciate about it is that there's like a fight scene. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
It's an A fight scene.
And it's like, oh, okay, like I guess I see where your standards are at, you know what I'm saying? Which is different than saying you like the movie because it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't want to poo poo on that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know me. Speed Racer, top 5. But
this man loves Speed Racer.
it's okay to have fun movies.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone out there who hasn't seen Speed Racer, to go watch it. Go watch it. The guy who directed Elvis.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Speed Racer, one of the best villain monologues I've ever heard.
I was literally I was at this man's house and put on Speed Racer. And I can't remember. I think Heather was on the phone and I just put her there, set her up so that she could watch too. I don't know if it was that or if it was the other way around, but I'm telling y'all, Speed Racer. You know what I mean? My man is telling him about the future in the present.
And you're watching the future happen.
And said, let me give you a history lesson. That's a bar.
That man's going crazy.
Going absolutely crazy, bro. One of the best villain monologues. Super stylized. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different than Arrival, my actual top movie.
Yeah,
Super
those
serious.
are not the same at all.
Super serious, both stylized, but a little different. Have you seen talking about actually, have you seen The Mist?
No, I haven't.
Bro, I watched that movie because it's like fairly, and I was surprised to hear that the ending of the movie is fairly controversial.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good movie. Like, spoiler alert for this movie that's like 2 decades old. But like, so it's like a thriller. It's like a horror, like a thriller movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like this mist comes over this small town, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you eventually learn that like the government was doing like extra dimensional testing in this facility in the mountains and stuff, right? So this mist rolls over and like a bunch of these things from this other dimension are in there. Some people die. You're mostly focused on this guy and his son who are trapped in a grocery store. And you have like the lady who's like, this is all foretold in the Bible and all that type of stuff. And then this guy's just trying to survive. And then his neighbor's there. Him and his neighbor don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets this like older guy who was out there in the mist when all this stuff went down and like saw what was out there. And it was like super scary and stuff. And then there was some lady who was like helping his son, and like an older woman and then an older guy. So they eventually a whole bunch of stuff goes down, and they're like, we gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? So they go and they get a car and they leave. They get away in this guy's car. They go to his house. His wife is dead because there was like a hole in their house from a storm the night before. And so they're like, we have X amount of gas in here, and we're just gonna keep driving until we get out of the mist. You know what I mean? Or until we run out of gas, essentially. And up until this point, everyone who has gone out into the mist has died. Every single person. And so they're like, they're driving. Their car runs out of gas. The car runs out of gas, and you hear like rumbling, like it's like a creature coming. You know what I mean? Because earlier there's like a big creature that made this really like lumbering sound. You know what I mean? So it sounds like that thing is coming again, right? And so they have a gun with them, and they're like, okay, if we get out of this car, like we're gonna get eaten. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get eaten alive and like all this different type of stuff, right? So what ends up happening is they're all like, we don't want to like go through that. You know what I'm saying? So the guy pulls out the gun. They're all looking at each other. They're all nodding, and they ask the guy, and they're like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So then it cuts to the outside of the car, and you just hear the gunshots, right? And then the guy gets out of the car, and he's like screaming, like wailing, crying, and you realize that it was like, he realized that they were gonna be stuck in the mist in this world, so they all agreed to like get shot by him so that they didn't have to die getting eaten by monsters or all that type of stuff, right?
Right.
So this guy's out of his car, he's wailing, and he's like, the grumbling of this monster is getting louder, and he's like shouting, he's like, come eat me, come get me, you know what I mean? He's like, I have nothing left, essentially. And so as he's yelling for this monster to like come get him, the grumbling's getting louder, and then all of a sudden the mist passes them by, and it's been like maybe 5 minutes, like in their world time, it's been like maybe 5 minutes since he just like shot them, like including his son. The mist clears, and you realize that the grumbling that you were hearing wasn't a monster. It was like the military in a bunch of trucks, and they were like torching everything to like burn stuff from the other dimension. And you realize the guy starts freaking out, and you realize that they gave up like 5 minutes too early. Like they gave up 5 minutes too early, and he killed all of them,
Bro.
for essentially no reason. Like all of that was essentially for no reason, and it was crazy.
That's devastating.
It was crazy. No, for real.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I was like, listen, that sucks, but it's not like a bad ending. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, that sucks.
Well, for real, if you're in that situation where it's like, it looks like there's no way out, so they're just like, just kill us, are you actually gonna kill them?
No, probably not.
Really?
I don't think I would. I mean, like that's a you decision. If you want to, like, I'm like,
you gotta pull the trigger, not me.
Yeah, honestly, it's like I can't. I mean, like, I can't have that on my conscience. No matter how much longer I'm gonna be alive, I can't. Whether it's the next 5 minutes or the next 5 years, I don't believe that I could leave it on my conscience. Especially if it's going to be, especially if there's any inkling that there might be a hope to get out of the situation. Because then if we get out the situation, because then I get out the situation and it's like, oh, I really did that. Then No.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
exactly
can't.
how dude looked.
No, I can't do it. That's a them decision, and I probably am not deciding along with them. So
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. All right. I have a paper to write today. So let's hop in and answer a question or two
okay.
and wrap up. Let me see here. Let me see here. You feeling slightly serious or not? Your aunt's question is a little too.
we could do
It's a little too. It's a little too.
we could do one serious question and one slight question.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick though, because I did all the reading last time.
Hmm. 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 Let's see here. So Lindsay asks. Lindsay asks. All right, well, I'll let you see if this is a serious question or not. Lindsay asks, do you think it's fair to ask a girl to cover up more if they're at a beach, lake, etc., but not ask a man to put a shirt on in the same setting?
Mm. Do I think it's fair? No. I
She did say, do you think it's fair?
um in my estimation, uh I would say no. It's just a double standard that society has accepted. So and the reason I say that is because like I recognize that people um have a proclivity to sexualizing, breasts and things of that nature. Um
Mm-hmm.
but that's it's almost like I don't want to say it's like a one-sided thing, but it's like a one-sided thing because we're also going to sit here and act like women don't don't sexualize guys who have like nice chests as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, is it fair? No, I don't think it's fair. Do I think that it's something that will change? Probably not. I don't think that is something that will change. I think that that's just the double standard that society is like, yeah, that's what we're going to rock with. And you just kind of
For
have to
sure.
deal with it.
For sure. We on the same page. We just have, you know what I mean? We on the same page on that one. I just think it's one of those things where I think people should be able to do whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the onus is on you a little bit primarily, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Not only, but primarily to control yourself, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? To me, I think the question is why, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The question is why are you doing it? Because if you're like you know what I'm saying, if a girl's like, I want to wear a bikini because I want to wear a bikini. It's like, yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I think if you're like, I'm literally trying to get people to look at me, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Use myself. If I ever got in like dummy good shape and I was just like, man, let me start walking around without my shirt on so that I'm out here looking good or whatever, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think that's more the issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's more the issue. Is like, are you trying to get people to look at you? You know what I'm saying? Or are you just like, are you genuinely doing that because it's like comfortable at what you want to do? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more the issue. But I don't think it's fair in particular because I think we're a little bit quicker to assume that, you know, I mean, the woman who's wearing a bikini is trying to show off rather than the man who's shirtless.
That's good.
There's also a little bit of pretty privilege in there. You know what I'm saying? Also a little bit of pretty privilege in there. I'm for
That's
real.
true.
I'm for real. You know what I'm saying? No one's complaining about, you know what I'm saying, super chunky dude wearing not wearing his shirt. You know what I mean? Like super chunky dude not wearing his shirt. No one's gonna talk about him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
This is me, though. Or they're gonna talk about him for a different reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know if that was serious or not. But
I don't think that was too serious. It's kind of light.
we'll stick with Lindsay. She said,
Dang, she
she
out here
has,
getting both questions answered this week.
she said, should women be allowed to preach in church?
Should women be allowed to preach in church? Yeah, I think yes. I think that how was I trying to say? So me personally, growing up, I don't think that I've ever really had any, I guess, opposition to women preaching in church. Like the churches I went to, there was never like, I never had heard anybody take like a hard like, no, women can't preach in church, until I got like to Liberty. And that's like the first time I was like, oh, people think that women can't preach in churches. So I think then the question becomes, can women be like the lead pastor or something like that? And that's something that I feel like I'm less clear about, because preaching, I think anybody can, teach, anybody can give a lesson, anybody can be like, oh, I received this from God. Let me tell you what I heard, because God could use anybody. But then but simply giving a word and preaching a word is different than being like, the designated like pastor of like a congregation or something. And I haven't like really studied a lot of the I guess leadership structure of a church based on like what Paul said and everything of that nature. So I don't know personally for me if I believe that women can be like a head pastor of a church. Like if you asked me that, I would be like, I don't see anything wrong with it. But that's not to say that that's necessarily in line with what scripture says, or that it's out of line with what scripture says, because I personally just don't know that much.
I feel you. Yeah, I think personally I find myself going kind of like back and forth on it over the years. I think I went from not having an opinion really at all to then like getting to school and having to think about it in classes and stuff, and I'd be like, well, like on an individual level, I don't see why not. But like I think it's important to not like make caricatures of people. Like not everyone who's like women can't be head pastors is like hates women or something,
Mm-hmm.
But I think historically in Orthodox traditions there's not like a precedent for it, but I also am like, I am of the mindset personally of the evidence that I've seen, the research that I've read, like there's examples of like female high leadership in the church, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think my logical brain is like, okay, so we're saying like it's like, yes, you can be the children's pastor and the youth pastor and the prayer pastor and the worship pastor, but the head pastor, it's like, nah. And like I get that there's like it's a little different, but it to me, I'm just like I'm just like go for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm like, I think I've been swayed enough that it's like, I think I wouldn't look sideways at a church that had like a female head pastor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like that doesn't happen very often, but like, okay, I suppose that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? And to me, it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like, well, we'll get to the other side and figure out what was actually correct there. But I think that there's reasonable positioning, like biblical historical positioning on either side. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us for episode 6.
Appreciate the questions.
Jesus, Juke. Appreciate the questions for real. If you hear anything more questions, if you know us, text Miles or I. If you don't know us, you know what I mean, email a question in. I do have an email for this. noosecreations@gmail.com. That's noose as in NOUS creations@gmail.com.
Not NOOSE.
Not as in the knot. If you send an email with the knot noose, that's crazy. You need help. So appreciate y'all for rocking with us for another episode. You know what I mean? Have a blessed week for real.
We see y'all later.